Hey, and welcome back to The Art of a Life Well Lived. I am Christine Regan Lake, and it's good to be here again. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So today I want to talk to you about 10 techniques narcissists use to manipulate you. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel, I would so love for you to do that. When you subscribe to my channel, that tweaks the algorithm, lets YouTube know that people are interested in my channel, and it helps more people to see my content. So if you could do that, that would be super awesome. I would so appreciate it. And if you like or share my videos, it's the same thing. And also, I love your comments. I love when you give me your insight, your experiences, share your thoughts. What we're really trying to do here is build a community of people who are looking to heal and take their life to a new level after they've been through some toxic situations, whether that narcissistic situation was with a spouse, a sibling, a parent, a boss, a coworker, what have you. So let's get started. So the 10 techniques that a narcissist use to manipulate you, they can vary at different times. They'll bring these in, layer them one on top of the other. They'll more than likely, they will have 3 or 4 that they tend to do the most, but any of these 10 could be relevant for you. So, of course, one of the things that narcissists are known most for is their ability to gaslight you. So, one of the first ways that they use to gaslight you is that they will do something, and then when you call them on their behavior, they will absolutely deny it. They'll come back and say, "I don't know what you're talking about." And I have a post right now that should be coming out at the end of the week that talks about actually some of the different phrases that a narcissist will use when they're gaslighting you. So you'll get to see those. So check out my blog on christinereganlake.com. So the first one is that they deny their behavior and refuse to take accountability for what they've said or done. Second one is that this is how they have the ability to make people think that they're going crazy, because they will insist that some of the most outrageous things are true. So one of the things that they could insist is that you had an intention behind something. So maybe you forgot to, pick something up for them at the store, and then they will be absolutely adamant that you were doing it on purpose to be vindictive or whatever. They will just insist upon something to be true that isn't really true. And you're constantly on the defensive then, trying to say, no, that wasn't my intention, I didn't do that, whatever. The next thing that they will do is they will completely dismiss your thoughts and your feelings. So, for instance, it's very common for certain narcissists to sexually withhold from their partners. So they just basically cut off the sex and the relationship, and they expect their partner to just deal with it. And then if the partner were to go to them and say, this isn't working for me, I don't understand what happened, we used to have sex, I love having sex, things like that. And then they'll say, you're blowing things out of proportion, it's not that big a deal, we just have to make more time. So the things that are most important to you, your thoughts, your feelings, what matters to you is completely dismissed and ignored, and you're made to feel as if your thoughts and feelings don't matter, and that when you're trying to express something that doesn't work for you, you're just blowing things out of proportion. You're just making a big deal when there's nothing there to make a big deal about. So they also, if you call them on their behavior, one, they either deny what they've done, or they just claim that you're making it up, right? So you'll say, but this is what you did. And they'll be like, no, I didn't do that. What are you talking about? You're making things up. So they will basically, these head games are specifically designed to make you doubt yourself and start questioning things. And then when you talk to your friends, they see, especially if it's a covert narcissist, your friends and family will see this loving person who's so, good to you and, like Mr. Nice, Mrs. Nice, whatever. But then behind closed doors, they're doing all these things to you. They're denying what you said. They're ignoring your feelings. They're trying to make you feel like you're going crazy and doubt yourself. So those are some of the things. Those are like 4 different ways that they can gaslight you when they are trying to make you doubt yourself and get in that manipulative position to manipulate your thoughts and feelings and things like that, and to diminish you. The second thing that they do is projection. So what projection is a coping mechanism for when people are unable to handle their own emotions. And so say they're feeling worthless, or they're feeling fat, or they're feeling incompetent, whatever it is, because they've never learned to properly process these emotions, what they do is they project those things onto the people in their intimate circle, whether it's their spouse, their employee, your sibling, your parent, whatever. They project these actual feelings that they're having about themselves onto you. The act of projecting it onto you allows them to take all of this negative emotion that they're feeling and just push it off of themselves and thrust it onto somebody else so they don't have to deal with it. This is subconscious. They don't realize that they're doing it. This is a learned response that they learned in their childhood as a coping mechanism to deal with these uncomfortable feelings. So when someone is doing this to you, it's super important for you to just stay objective and look at the situation and realize this is projection. This isn't about me. This is about them. This is their issue, and I'm not going to allow it to contaminate me or make me feel bad about myself. If you're in the environment of a narcissist, whether it's a spouse, a boss, whatever, coworker, and you're forced to be in their environment, you want to do certain energy work, energy protection work, to kind of surround yourself in a bubble of protection to not let their negative energy contaminate you so that you don't absorb that, because we are energetic beings and we are highly susceptible to the energy in our environment. So if you're surrounded by narcissistic or toxic people who are projecting stuff onto you, it's super important that you do energy work to protect yourself. Okay. And you also want to do energy clearing work. So you want to protect yourself, but you also every once in a while you want to do a full chakra, like 7 chakra cleanse to clear your energy. Maybe you want to do, if you're super diligent, you might want to do it every day. If you're comfortable doing it once a week, whatever it is, you want to have good energy hygiene to be able to cleanse your body of this garbage. Okay. So the third one is generalizations, right? So one of the tactics a narcissist will use is generalizations. And what they do with a generalization is that you're trying to be specific. You bring up a very specific point about something that isn't working for you or whatever, and then they will turn it around into a broad generalization. Well, everybody knows porn use is okay, or everybody knows that, it's okay to, cheat a little on your taxes, whatever it is. They will make a generalization. You have a very specific issue with which something isn't working for you, and they will turn around and make it a generalization to diminish what you're bringing up. So it's a diversion tactic to not have to actually address the very specific thing that you're bringing up. So again, it's gaslighting, projection, and generalization. Those are the first 3. So the fourth one is moving the goalpost. So I actually had a business venture with someone one time, and this gentleman, we had our weekly goals or whatever. And it's really funny because very shortly after working with him, I ended up packing on like 10 pounds because his energy was so toxic. Thank God we eventually went our separate ways after just a few months, because it just wasn't meant to be. And I'm so grateful, because my body was so reactive to his negativity that I literally, in like the few short weeks that we did this project together, my body just packed on weight as a way to insulate myself from his energy, which is a very common trait of empaths and highly sensitive people. It is a physical way your body protects you from negative energy of people coming at you. So anyway, in terms of moving the goalposts, what happened was that, we both had our responsibilities or whatever, and I came forward and I was like, there was a list of like 12 things, whatever that needed to be done, and I had accomplished, like in a very short period of time, I'd gotten like 10 done. So then he comes back and I said, okay, here's this, this, and this. There's the status on these two. And instead of like any kind of acknowledgement on the 10 things that I'd already done, it was, here are 6 other things that need to be done that weren't on the list, of which I didn't know needed to be done in the first place. So they move the goalpost for you so that you're never getting any kind of like acknowledgement or recognition for what you're currently doing or what you have already done. Everything is about what's next, what's next, what's next. And you're only as good as your latest offering of proving to them that you love them, that you care about them, that you're a good employee, that you're a loyal and devoted employee, whatever. There's nothing is ever good enough, and there's never any acknowledgement or, a praise for the things that you have done in the past, what you are doing or whatever. It's all about future future projecting about like, well, this is the next expectation for you, and this is the next expectation for you. Okay, so moving the goalpost. Number 5 is changing the subject. So this is a very common tactic that a narcissist will use when you're having an argument or a discussion or a debate with somebody who is a narcissist. When they are clear that they don't have the intellectual capacity or the answers to continue the conversation, or if you're calling them on their bad behavior, what they will do is they will change the subject completely. All of a sudden now, like if you were talking about the fact that they, they're never cleaning the house or whatever, next thing you know, they're like, we have to get the taxes done. Like it's just this switch technique to get them completely off the hook and distract you from what you were focusing on so that they don't have to be accountable. They don't have to maintain a discussion that they're not capable of maintaining, or they haven't, if they're a narcissist who tends to lie a lot, maybe they haven't figured out the lie or the explanation they were going to come up with for that. So they simply just change the subject. The next one, number 6, is name calling. So I actually had a friend who I used to get into lively debates on social media with. And, but the challenge was that this individual was emotionally immature, and he did not know how to have a discussion. And in terms of when he reached the point in the discussion where he could no longer come back from the facts that I was presenting in the discussion, he would attack me personally. Because he had nowhere to go, there was nothing else to say. And I think there's a famous quote by Margaret Thatcher that's something like, I know I've won when my opponent resorts to name calling, because I know they have nothing left in their argument. And so that's what they'll do when they get frustrated because they have no further argument. They have nothing else further they can bring to the discussion to maintain it or continue it. They will personally attack you to try to shut you down, get you upset, distract you so that the discussion will be over and they no longer have to participate. So the next one, number 7, is smear campaigns. I've talked about this in other videos. So the smear campaign is a tactic, and typically the smear campaign is used just before a discard. So if they're going to break up with you, if they're going to fire you, if like whatever the situation is, they want to smear your name first so that when the breakup finally comes about, everyone's going to be on their side. They want to pit everybody against you and leave you out in the cold. So a smear tactic, a smear campaign is one of the tactics that they use to just try to destroy your name and your reputation with all the people in your sphere of influence. They want to come off as the victim, and they want everyone to feel sorry for them. They want a pity party, and they want to cast you as the villainous evildoer, and that they were just this innocent victim who was taken advantage of by this ruthless, person who, was just out to ruin them or attack them or use them or whatever else. Okay. Number 8 is the devaluation phase, right? So the devaluation the go-to tactics for devaluing you will either be on your physical appearance, your weight, your looks, your hair, your athletic ability, your eating habits, or your mind. Maybe they'll attack your intelligence to try to imply that you're stupid or you're incompetent, or things like that. They may attack your career, implying that you should be further along, you should be making more money. Or they can attack your spiritual beliefs. They can literally laugh at your beliefs and devalue your philosophy, your belief systems, and what's most important to you. So the devaluing can really leak into any area of your life: your body, your mind, your career, your spiritual, or your finances, right? They could tell you that you don't have the ability to invest your money, right? Which can be very common in marriages, where one spouse will manage all of the retirement investment income, which is fine, which is no problem if that's their gift. But if they do it, and then they do it from a place of manipulation and control, where they're trying to control you, they don't want you to have access to that money, well, then that's a problem. The 9th one is aggressive jokes, where they use really harsh, negative sarcasm to insult you and put you down. This is super common. And believe me, I grew up in an Irish household, and the Irish, we have sarcasm. We have sarcasm in our DNA, right? We know how to do it. But there is a way to use sarcasm to truly be light and playful and joking. And there's also a way to use sarcasm where it is deeply destructive. And it's destructive when that sarcasm comes from a place of wounding, where you are literally just using the opportunity to use that sarcasm to literally just punch somebody in the face verbally, and then you wrap it in a humor and a little giggle, so that when they try to call you on it, you say, "Oh, I was just kidding, you don't have a good sense of humor." So sarcasm, you have to be really, really careful with sarcasm. It can be beautiful, it can be funny, it can be a way to drive home a point, but it also can be very vicious, malicious, and mean. So you want to make sure, even for yourself, and I had to reel myself back in. Years ago, I saw that I was doing that, and I said, that's not the kind of human being I want to be. I have to stop that. And what I have to do is just say to the person what's really upsetting me, because sarcasm is, so you're angry at them about something about A, and then you use the sarcasm B that's completely disconnected, has nothing to do with that, but it's a place for you to outlet that anger that you have towards that person because of some violation you feel they did to your boundaries or hurt your feelings. So learn for yourself to not use sarcasm to harm, and be aware of if someone is using it on you to try to make you feel less than, put you down, devalue. And the 10th one is triangulation. This is very, very common, right? So triangulation can be, you're at work, there's several coworkers, whether it's, a clutch of women, and there's they all have their little, whatever, and then they want to leave one out, right? So they target one woman and leave her out. And then as she tries to start having friendships, there's someone that'll triangulate and bring someone in and put someone between you two. It's the triangulation of bringing in a third party. So there's two people that have a friendship, two people that have a marriage, whatever it is. And then a third person comes in to try to manipulate, right? So maybe it's a husband and wife, and the husband's sister is having a party, and she literally just excludes the wife. And so she's trying to manipulate the relationship. She's trying to cause a division between the couple. Or it's a parent doing that between two siblings. Maybe there's one parent who favors one child over the other, and so starts making comments about the one sibling to the other sibling in a way because maybe the parent is jealous of the sibling friendship and the connection they have. And because of the distorted parent's view, they would rather that the siblings were not close because they're jealous of that, and they want to keep one closer to themselves. It's all about manipulation. It's all about manipulating people to, feed your ego, to do what you want, make you feel better. And so triangulation is completely destructive, and it's very easy to see once you understand the basic tenets of triangulation, where one person is pitting, because a third person comes in and pits one person against the other. That's essentially triangulation. And it can happen in any dynamic, in a marriage, in a family, in a work situation, in a religious or church or temple institution, things like that, where this one kind of busybody person tries to pit one person against the other, and they just sit back and watch as they manipulate these puppets and cause problems, and it feeds their ego to believe to know that they were the one that caused this fight amongst these two people. It's just some sick game. It's like psychological warfare, and it's completely toxic and unhealthy, but it's what they do. Okay, so let me just do a quick recap. 10 techniques narcissists use to manipulate you. The first one is gaslighting, which can come in forms of either they're denying what they've said or done. They insist something outrageous is true if it's not, it's implying you had intention to hurt their feelings or intention to leave them out, whatever. Dismiss your thoughts and feelings as they're not valid, they don't matter, and they claim you're making things up when you're not. They use projection, where they take the discomfortable feelings that they can't handle in their own being, and they project it onto another person as a way to offload it from themselves so they don't have to deal with these difficult emotions. The third one is making broad, sweeping generalizations. Everybody knows, everybody says, things like that, where you're trying to cover something specific and they generalize it so they don't have to really address the core issue of what you're talking about. Fourth one is moving the goalpost. You both agree on A, B, and C. They come in and yell at you because you didn't do X, Y, and Z. Completely irrational, but it's a tactic they use. They change the subject. Number 5 is changing the subject when they don't want to deal with an issue. They simply just use it as a maneuvering tactic, and they take you on a whole another path so they don't have to be accountable or be present in the conversation you will currently have. 6th one is name calling, where they run out of any kind of argument. They have nothing intelligent left to say, so they attack you personally to shut you down and shut you up. The next thing is 7 is smear campaigns, where they want to smear your name to friends, family, coworkers, or whatever in an attempt to villainize you and make them seem like they're the innocent victim. 8 is devaluation, where they go out of their way to attack you physically, mentally, emotionally, psychologically, spiritually, financially, where they will use any tactic possible to make you feel bad about yourself and devalue you so that you have a lowered sense of self-esteem, self-worth, sense of self, and that way you are more manipulatable and you will more readily stay with them, because if you're strong and confident, you would walk away from their bullshit. Number 9 is aggressive jokes, where they're using nasty, vicious sarcasm to put you down, to make fun of you, as a way to diminish you and shrink you. 10 is triangulation, where they are a third person that comes in to divide and cause conflict between two people, and it's psychological warfare, it's pure manipulation, it's completely toxic. So those are the 10 techniques narcissists use to manipulate you. The more aware you are of these different tactics that they use, the more you will be able to witness and objectively say, this is what they're doing. This is gaslighting. This is projection. This is a generalization. This is a smear campaign. And you won't take it personally. Always remember, when dealing with a narcissist, you want to do the gray rock technique, which is they feed off of emotion, negative or positive. So when they put you in a situation to try to cause conflict and a fight, you do the gray rock technique. You shut down completely like a gray rock. They get no response from you. The more you train them that you are a cold stone gray rock when they try to antagonize you to a fight, and they realize you're not manipulatable and that you won't go there, they'll stop and they'll just move on to another prey. So those are the 10 techniques. I hope you have a beautiful day. Please leave any comments. I would love to hear any situations where you had a spouse, a friend, a parent, or a coworker who was gaslighting you or using any of these techniques. I care about your story. We're building a community here, and let's grow together and, take this journey, as friends, hand in hand. All right. Have a good one. Take care. Bye-bye.